Hey guys, I just want to show you how to propagate succulents from scratch. I'm going to show you a few of the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to slowly propagate some of these things. So just to get ready, I'd like to share with you some of my tips. I try and tell everybody to have a little bucket of soil, cactus soil preferably, close by, all ready to go. I like to save a lot of our egg cartons. We eat a lot of eggs here at home, so I like to save a lot of our egg cartons. And actually a great way to grow these propagated succulents are in these little eggshells. Yeah, eggshell covers, egg covers. So save some of these as you go along, and then I'm going to show you slowly how to propagate them. So I'll start off by showing you what I plan on doing with this. This is probably one of the first few that I had. You want to make sure that you grab it right at the base and give it a little nudge left and right, up and down, very close to the base there. And there you go. So if you get a little bit of the bark, that's okay. I would always wait till these dry before sticking them on top of the soil. Or you can, as long as the soil is dry, you can actually put them right on top of the soil. So what I do is I actually like to keep them a little bit dry, and how I do that is sometimes I will grab some of these covers here. So I have one on the bottom, nice and dry. What's great about these things is they absorb a lot of moisture, and I'll just sit it on top to dry it. We also like to collect a lot of our the linings of our chocolates that we get during the holidays, and so here are a few with some succulents in them already. And those are some of the propagated succulents that you'll see me transferring in. So that's just one aspect. So yeah, really important that you don't, you can't propagate a succulent leaf from half of the leaf. You actually need a full leaf right from the beginning of the leaf. Okay, and that's the best way to propagate. So I like to put that in there. I'll leave that aside. And great way is to just let it dry. Let it sit for a couple days if you wish. You don't have to put it in soil right away. Some people water pot propagate. I'll show you how to do that too in another video. And some people like to just put them on top of chicken wire and let them just dry over time, and then eventually put them on top of soil. So I've been propagating for a little while now. I like to keep these eggshell trays, as I said. I'm going to place some soil. I'll show you. I like to place some soil right in the eggshell containers, just like that. So this is kind of my own mix that I have going on here. I like to mix my own because I find sometimes, depending on the nursery that you buy them from, they sometimes like to use too wet of a soil mix than I prefer. It stays moist for too long. It's actually going to rot your succulents. Succulents do not like wet feet, so I like to make my own, and I will be more than happy to share that with you in another post. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab some of these propagated succulents and put them right in there because they're ready to be on their own. So here's one. I'll show you what came out of. So this was an actual regular leaf at some point, and now we have a really cool succulent growing out of this. So really neat. It's pretty much established. It also has all those little roots that have grown out, and I like to place them in their little spots. Okay, just like that. Here's another one. This is a really gorgeous one. You can actually see all the red tips around there, around the edges of the succulent. Beautiful. Just like that. Excuse me. So I do have children. I have 3 boys, and as we all know, boys are not quiet. And neither are girls, actually, I should say, but my boys are very young, and oh, look what I found. A succulent leaf. Okay, so leave that there. And just like that. A little bit of soil around it. So here you go. Here's one really good one that I'm happy to show you. It's actually a succulent propagated leaf, and the leaf is all dried up. It actually uses all the energy from this old leaf to create these beautiful new baby succulents. There you go. And I have a few more. This one actually has already, its roots have grown, and there's actually 2 new flowers in this one, and actually a 3rd one. So 1, 2, and there's the baby one that's just starting. And the roots on this one, this is actually one of the ones I water propagated. That was actually pretty exciting because I've never done that before, so I really wanted to try it. And so I waited till a whole bunch of leaves came off of one, and then I waited till it dried, and I stuck the one end in water and waited for it to root. And when it finally did root, I eventually transferred it into soil. So this is the soil that I transferred it into. If you look, there's a lot of succulents, and sometimes, so let me just show you, like sometimes some of these succulents leaves will grow really long roots and no flowers. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. It took a while for this one. As you can tell, it's pretty small, but if you look close enough, right there, see that little pink nub? You can actually see that there's a small succulent growing out of that one. So I will leave this one on here for now until it produces a bigger flower to be transferred over into the eggshell egg containers. So here's another one again. Dried up leaf, new baby, and that one's gonna have its own little spot right over here. So these, actually the watering on these guys is a little bit different. Now I like to tell everybody to make sure that you wait till the soil has dried before spraying them down with water again. I sometimes use a little water bottle with the nozzle to water these guys, but my favorite is actually using a spray bottle. And the great thing about these spray bottles are that you can buy them from Amazon. I bought a whole kit, and as you can tell, I love pink, so all of my stuff are in pink, and I'm actually wearing pink and pink gloves, and there you go, pink watch, yes. And actually I like to spray these down, as I said, and all you do is you just spray them down a little bit and just let them be. Sometimes I like to make sure that that's a little bit saturated, more saturated than that, because it may be a few more days before I spray them again. But I like to spray them depending on where you store these. Like I had mine under a grow light. However, right above that area, I also had a vent coming from my heater. So these would dry up a lot quicker, and so they needed to be watered almost every other day, if not every 2 days. So everyone's really depends on your surroundings. I really do encourage you to try and find a nice sunny spot for these guys. A lot of websites say, you know, keep them away from the sun. I think too much sun would be too much for them. However, if you are, say, in California, and the weather this time of the year is not so bad, you can actually keep them under the sun if you wanted. But if you are like me and I live in Toronto, Canada, I do keep mine inside the house, and during the summertime, I may put this outside, but I like to be able to see my succulent propagations, and I like to monitor them, and if I leave them outside, I'm afraid that I may forget about them. So yeah, so I do keep my stuff inside. So here's another baby succulent that has grown some roots and a few, and well, the propagated leaf has actually gone dry, so that's going in its own little spot there. And so yeah, so here's a good example. Actually, I should have shown you this one in the first place. This is a succulent leaf that does not have a bud. It doesn't have a flower budding yet, but what it does have is it has a lot of roots. Okay, so that's a really, really good example of what I was trying to tell you before. All right, so I think this is pretty much it. I think I'm gonna leave some of these guys. Oh, maybe this one can actually go. I'm gonna leave the majority of these guys in the container that it's in right now, and wait for more babies to pop out of those ones. I have another tray with succulents that I was propagating. Sometimes I'll even go to the nursery and I'll find these succulent leaves on the floor. I will pick them up and I will take them home because I know what the potential is, and I like being surprised. Sometimes I don't know what these succulents are called, and the next thing you know, I have a succulent I haven't had before. So here's an example of one. I don't know what kind of succulent this is. I didn't even know it was a succulent, so I did see the leaf on the floor. It looked like a succulent to me, so I picked it up. And there you go. It's got more than that, 4 little plants growing on it. So that's kind of exciting. And you see all the roots. And there you go. And I'll do one more from this corner. There you go. Alright. Okay, so there you go. My eggshell containers for propagated succulents. Thanks for watching, guys.